The biggest barrier for not keeping up with your network is that there's no system to do it. Simply putting in a recurring reminder to check in with people while you're in a job search. I recommend checking in monthly, whether that's every 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, it's up to you. Sometimes people don't know how to help you. They might know next month. I call this the harvest cycle because you wouldn't just plant seeds and then never go back to harvest the fruits of your labor. You've got to harvest those relationships that you worked so hard to build. Many people leave money on the table by not telling their advocates where they landed. If you tell your advocates where you land and then check back in the next time you're job searching, these people have never known you as anything other than a job seeker. So that's totally appropriate. The easiest thing to do is set reminders to check in with people while you're in the midst of a job search. Even when you're outside of a job search, having ticklers to check in with key advocates to say hello and be social. Put it in your calendar. You should do that now. But a year from now, when it's time to check in, you're not going to remember.
Coming into entrepreneurship over the past 2 to 3 years, the importance of systems that create brain space to do other things cannot be overstated. Having a system means having brain space to do others and not recreating the wheels. I remember 15 years ago, I started a spreadsheet. Everybody that I met, when's the last time I talked to them? When's the next time I needed to reach out? What was our conversation about? I've got a OneNote for everybody. When are they graduating? What's their dog's name? 15 years later, that has been probably one of my treasure box tools because it kept me consistently on people's mind. And I do care. I love hearing about those things. Networking is a collaboration. It's a connection. It's a shared agreement that we're going to help each other share information. Networking doesn't have to be this kind of ugly thing. If you maintain those relationships, it feels authentic.
One thing I toss in there is you have those relationships where there's give and take, but it's totally fine to have relationships where you're just a peer mentee or a peer mentor. If you're mentoring somebody, you're not expecting to get value back from them. You're mentoring them because it feels good to pass knowledge along to the next generation, because you know how you've benefited from mentors yourself. Don't feel as if you can't engage in relationship building with strangers if you have nothing to offer. In fact, I find that makes it easier to be a good mentee when you're not trying to force reciprocal benefit. You're giving smart people a chance to talk about how they got so smart at their jobs, and that is payment enough.
Some of my mentors have come back as clients 15 years later. Embrace it for the moment for what it is and maintain those relationships.